Well, guys, it certainly looks like the market is kind of broken. If you look at what we're seeing over the past couple of days, it looks like this trend of, 2-3% down, 2-3% up over the course of a couple of days is now the norm. The stock market, or the S&P 500, down today around about 3.3%. What a drop that is. However, over the past 5 days, you're going to know that trend very well, as we're down 6%, and the past month, well, it's absolutely all over the place. Big swings up, but majorly, big swings down. If you go from the highs of the month to where we are now, down 11%. And a lot of analysts believe that we could already be in a bear market. So do a lot of consumers. One group of consumers who believe this seems to be truckers, as truckers seem to be deferring orders over recession fears, and I absolutely cannot blame them. If we have a look, Trayton said on Monday that it expects North American truck markets to shrink by 10% or close to, and lower its full year forecast, even before accounting for the impact on tariffs. Truckers in the United States are deferring orders over fears of the global recession. Volkswagen's truck unit, Trayton, said it had a call with investors on Monday, and according to analysts by note, Bernstein Research. This is just yet another sign that we're seeing. And we've spoken about Volvo, who said the same thing. A lot of businesses are seeing demand dry up or massively slow down. We're seeing markets really start to decline. We're seeing a lot of people become very, very concerned about the state of where the economy is. It really is a difficult position. So I'm not surprised people want to save money. People don't really have the money to go out there and buy massively expensive vehicles. It just does not make much sense for them. So we're seeing this in the truck market. We're seeing this in a number of different markets. We're seeing this in vehicle sales. We're seeing it in so many different areas. And now we have big analysts suggesting the same. Now, at the same time, we've seen China's economy grow by 5.4% before the US tariffs hit. However, analysts warn that a slowdown could be likely. So what we're looking at here is strong growth in China. The economy growing by 5.4% year over year in the quarter January to March. Strong exports before the US tariffs helped to boost manufacturing, and analysts warn that this could slow down sharply as tariffs as high as 145% take hold. It's not just the US that this is impacting, right? It's impacting China, it's impacting Europe, it could be impacting the majority of the world. This is going to have major impacts if this tariff thing continues or goes ahead in its current form, and it absolutely does appear to be doing so. So we see a lot of people warning of this, many analysts saying that we are in the very early days of this. And again, here is yet another warning of this, the very early days with the worst yet to come. So CNN global economic analyst Rana Fuha is bracing views of the impact of President Trump's aggressive tariffs and warned during a panel discussion on Tuesday that the US is only at the very early days of this policy, with the worst ramifications yet to come. What I hear from investors across the board is folks going short term on assets, folks going to safety havens. I mean, this goes back to the truck thing, right? What do you expect? It's a very, very difficult market. And this is the thing. People think the stock market is some, mystical thing. Obviously, you guys who watch videos like this will be aware of what the stock market is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are investors. But most normal people who don't invest, they think the stock market is just some mythical thing. It doesn't impact their life. It absolutely does, right? It impacts their savings, it impacts their retirement potential, it impacts the broad economy. So, is it any warning that when we've seen all of these financial red flags, people are very concerned? People are selling off gold, and they were selling off treasuries. This is just a reality. They don't like things that they don't generally sell things like in a panic, she explained. This means that they're trying to cover losses and stem blood flow from other problems that we don't see yet in the market. This is just the early days. And this comes after Trump's Liberation Days, where he announced the sweeping 10% baseline on tariffs and imports in the US. Again, Fuhar warns that we are in the very early days of this, and it's something to take lightly. The idea that everybody's going to come in and basically line things up, things are going to be fine, is very naive. Not to mention what China is going to do, which we can't get to. This is not having the impact that A lot of people think Trump thought it would. It's actually hurting Americans. It's hurting the global economy. Markets are declining at such a rapid rate. And again, it now looks like we are in a bear market. Analysts are warning of recessions, despite the financial tariffs being put on hold. Look, the damage has been done, right? The damage absolutely has been done. The US stock market rebounded sharply as investors cheered President Trump's April 9th announcement of a pause, 90-day pause on tariffs with countries except from China. However, many believe that we are not out of the woods yet. And of course we're not, right? Again, classic bear market signs. A lot of people see this as not perhaps a rebound, a healthy pullback, but some see it as a classic bear market sign. And again, this is also true for the commentator and CEO of Rizhold Wealth Management, Josh Brown, who speaks about this, right? The analysts call this rebound that we have recently seen a bear market bounce. And the more that days go on, the more realistic this seems. Again, zoom out now. How far do you want to go? Year to date? 1 year chart? Just have a look at this, right? 16% off highs. At what point do we start to get serious about this? How many one-day drops of 3.5%, 4%, 5% do we need to see on the S&P, on the Dow, on the Nasdaq before we actually consider this to be a recession? Time will tell, guys, but this is not a good sign. And markets just continue to fall and fall and fall. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you soon. Goodbye.